are the Lost Souls, and we are back. This is actually starting to become the Alex Danvers show. Because Alex is pretty much leading the charge here, and I don't have a problem with that because I like Alex, and I forgot her name. I forget what were they calling her, Centipede or something like that. I'll get that one eventually, but yeah. So let's get right into this and talk about the beginning. So this episode actually starts. Well, it started with Supergirl, but then it starts with Magan. Magan had got the soul transfusion from last episode. So while she's on the table, she's like recuperating, trying to recover. She basically has like this dream, this premonition. She feels the power. She feels the force. Because Jean put a piece of her soul back into her body, it's taking her body a little bit to adjust in order for her soul to 100% take place. So she still has, Brainy said she still has like 18% residual phantom in her system. She still has a little bit of phantom in her system. But what Magan was saying is that 18% phantom that she has in her system, it's giving her the ability to be able to track people and be able to hunt people down. So when she realizes that she has this ability, she wakes up and then she runs and goes tells the team. So the whole team is actually like, they're in the main corridor. They're welcoming Lena Luthor to the fold because Lena has officially joined Team Supergirl and the Super Friends. I thought she was going to go join her homegirl, Andrea Rojas. I guess I was wrong. So Lena's taking up the fight for, she's taking up the fight for good. And the whole team is talking about how, they have to catch a Phantom. They have to catch the main Phantom, like Phantom Prime, because the Phantom Prime, he's the one that was going around sucking up people's souls, and he has all these people's souls trapped in what they call the chrysalis. It's like this big crystal orb that has the souls of all of his victims like put inside of it. Now, what they're saying is, I guess like he's using all those souls for power to make himself grow stronger, to make himself, become invincible. So once the chrysalis hardens, then all that soul energy will basically just power this one particular Phantom, and then once it powers him, he'll be unstoppable and nobody will be able to beat him, and then all the souls that he took, all those people are going to officially die. But what they're saying is, if they can break the chrysalis, then all the souls will return to their respective bodies, and then his power will be weakened and they'll be able to capture him. At that moment, they were just like, great, so we have a plan, all we have to do now is find the chrysalis, in order for us to stop him. And then Lena's like, well, I can make a device, that can track the chrysalis for everybody, and then she said that she's like, while I was waiting to join the team, she's like, I stayed up all night and I worked on this new machine. And then she basically made the proton pack from Ghostbusters, and Brady even called her out on it because she was just like, oh, it's a laser device that sucks up the ghost energy and then it traps them into a containment field. And then Brady was like, yes, just like Ghostbusters. And then she was like, no, but this is real. He was just like, yes, just like in the Ghostbuster movie. She's like, no, but this actually works. And then Magan comes busted in, and then she's like, hey everybody, I have phantom power, and because I have phantom power, it gives me the ability to be able to track somebody, because phantoms can track people. So she was just like, because I still have 18% of this phantom power, until the phantom power goes away, she said, for the time being, I can track Supergirl. She was like, I just need like her DNA or something like that for her to track. So now they're just like, well shit, we got to stop the chrysalis, because the chrysalis is like uber important, but then again, we now have a way to track Supergirl. So then everybody was like, all right, let's try to do both. Let Lena come up with a device that she can use to give to Magan, that Magan can use to track Supergirl's whereabouts. But again, what they were saying was, in order for that to happen, they need Supergirl's DNA. So they ended up getting the DNA because when Kara had made that final message thing where she, when she was in the Fortress of Solitude and she put her hand on the crystal, that crystal thing, it basically like it took a copy of her DNA and put her DNA into the system with her words on it. So if they can use that hologram and put it into Lena's machine, the machine will then be powered and it'll let them know what Supergirl's location is. Meanwhile, everyone else, they're sitting there trying to see if they can find the chrysalis. Dreamer ends up using her dream power to see if she can locate the chrysalis, through dream power. But every time she uses her dream power, she keeps seeing a young Kara and a young Alex back in Midvale High School. And it's kind of like freaking her out because she has no idea why she's seeing that. She's seeing the two of them in Midvale High School, and then she's also seeing the Phantoms. So her dream power is kind of whack, and she's kind of freaking out because she's just like, I don't know what's going on. She really only told Brainy about it, and there wasn't anything Brainy could do. He was just like, eventually you'll just figure it out, So we just got to ride the wave, and we just got to ride the wave until that. At that moment, Brainy unfortunately told the team, he said that based on on like Dreamer's dream, he said that the chrysalis is actually an hour away from being hardened. And he was like, once that thing hardens, all the souls of all the people that the dude captured, they're gone. Like, they're not coming back. And if Magan even gets too close to it, like, it'll suck up the rest of her soul and then she'll be gone too. But then they said that if they can destroy the chrysalis, Magan will get her original soul back. So now they're just like, all right, shift the plan, because the most important thing now was to try to destroy this chrysalis, because we need to destroy this thing like ASAP. And then Lena comes busting in and she's just like, hey everybody, she's like, I finished the device, now it can track where Kara's whereabouts are. And then unfortunately at that moment, Alex had to give Lena the speech, but like, welcome to the team. And and kudos to Alex for even making this decision, because again, like, you could tell, like, the way Alex has been acting for the last 4 episodes, like, oh my God, my sister. The fact that she even made this decision, I was legitimately shocked. And she told Lena, she said, listen, the problem now is the chrysalis has become like priority one, and it's like super important. Magan and Dreamer need to be able to combine their powers along with your device, so this way we can find the chrysalis and we can save all of these people. But she was just to be able to, Lena was just like, yes, but we already have Kara's soul trapped in the machine. And then she was like, if you use the machine to locate the chrysalis, then Kara's DNA will be gone and then we won't be able to find her. And then Alex was just like, I understand that. She was just like, to be honest, I'm gonna need you not to make this difficult than it already is, because the fact that I even had to tell you this, that we're going to choose to save the world over Kara, is like killing me on the inside. But with that being said, that's exactly what Kara would do. And then Lena was just like, well, I'm not going to do it. I'm going to save Kara, because she was just like, it's my fault. Like, I'm the reason why she's trapped in the Phantom Zone. It was my brother and my family. And then, Alex was like, look, homegirl. She was like, first of all, Kara forgave you for that shit last season. She was like, second of all, we're all trying to follow the example that Supergirl left behind. We're all trying to, like, live, to her truth and her ideals and her, and her way of thinking. And then she was like, how do you think Kara would feel if we rescue her from the Phantom Zone, therefore dooming hundreds of thousands of souls, and then Kara finds out that the world is infested with phantoms, and the reason why the world is infested with phantoms is because we chose to save her over saving the public. She's like, she's not gonna like that, and then she's gonna be mad at everybody, and it's gonna be this whole big thing. And then she was just like, as much as I want to save her, she was like, I need to follow her example, and I need to save the world. And then, Lena was just like, I can't do it, Alex, I'm sorry. And then, like, Alex used her magical Martian gun to magnetize and pull the device away from her. I guess Brainy calibrated it, because they told Lena that they needed Lena to calibrate it to set it to find the chrysalis, and she didn't want to do it. So I guess Brainy did it. So, so after that, so they recalibrate the machine. Magan stays home. They all go down to to the hideout. Like, the machine located the chrysalis, like it located where the chrysalis is. So Brainy, he's got the Ghostbuster pack. Dreamer, Alex, everybody, like I said, everybody except Magan and Lena, they go down there to try to save the people and try to destroy the chrysalis. Jean ended up getting his soul sucked out, like, right out the gate, and then Brainy got his soul sucked out. It came down to Alex and Dreamer, and then when we found the chrysalis was in a room. It had nothing but phantoms all over it. Dreamer, this was actually pretty cool. Dreamer used her dream energy to create like a vortex, like, shield, where Alex can have a straight beeline right to the chrysalis. And just then, like, the phantoms came, they grabbed Dreamer to try to get Dreamer to break the hold over shielding Alex. And then when the phantoms grabbed her, she ended up having another vision of Midvale with young Kara and young Alex as well. So now she's kind of like, yo, what the F? But then, but she told Alex, she was just like, yo, keep going, don't stop. So Alex goes through the vortex. She walks up to the chrysalis. She takes the device. She uses it to break the chrysalis. She busts it wide open. Everyone's soul returns to their body, and the world is saved, and happy times are here again. We now go back to the fortress, or the tower. I guess with the tower, that's what we're calling it. We go back to the tower, and then Lena tried to hand in her resignation because she was just like, oh, you made the ultimate sacrifice, and I don't know if I could do that. And then Alice was just like, girl, please. She was like, look, if anybody, she's like, first of all, Kara would love the fact that you're even on this team, and what makes this team so special is that we're made up of different people. She's like, we have different opinions, we have different views, we all don't agree, and everybody brings something different, and what you bring to the table is just as good as what everybody else brings to the table. So she was like, so stop with the waterworks, stop with the woe is me, and she's like, just get over here, pour me some skizach, and let's celebrate this victory, and we'll come up with a new way to get Kara home. So then, like, everybody's talking now, and they're just like, well, Lena and Brain would, like, they can build another machine, that can track the DNA. But then they're just like, but where are we going to get her DNA? And then, and then at that point, because the thing is, like, she's Supergirl, she's invincible, she's the girl of steel. And the only time that she's vulnerable enough for you to even extract DNA is during when kryptonite is involved, or when the solar flare comes, where like we have the solar eclipse, and because of the solar eclipse it takes away her powers for for like 24 hours or so. There was an episode like that in season 1, where that happened. And then like Alex said, she said also in season 1 when Kara fought Red Tornado, I believe actually did make her bleed. So there have been a few times where somebody was able to bust that ass on Supergirl to get DNA. But Alex was just like, but aside from the one episode where there was a solar flare and she broke her arm, when the city was in danger, she's like, the only other time I can remember her losing her power was when we were back in high school. And then Brady was like, you mean in Midvale High School? And then Dreamer was like, that's it. She said, in order for us to get the DNA that we need to be able to track and find Kara, we have to go back in time to Midvale High and get the DNA from her the one day that she loses her power in the past. Because I guess it'll be easier to get the power to get the DNA from her when she's a teenager versus when she's a full-blown grown adult. From what I saw in the coming attractions, Brainy and Dreamer in the next episode, they're actually going to travel back in time. It's kind of like, it kind of reminds me of the Flash episode with Chester and Cisco when they ended up back in the 80s. But now Dreamer and and Brainy, they're going to go back in time and they're going to interact with young Kara and young Alex, which is cool because the episode where young Kara and young Alex did their whole detective spy thing, that was a really cool episode, and that episode got a lot of praise. So I mean, even if we bring like the youngins back once a season, that'll be cool to see. And it's the final season too, so why not bring them back one more time? And now to the Supergirl portion of the show. Supergirl basically, her, Nixus, and her daddy, they were trying to phantom hop. They were trying to do phantom hopping, and it wasn't working. The toll of phantom hopping, it was slowly breaking Kara down. And then they came up with the idea because they were just like, wait a minute, my mom built, well, she didn't build it, but did they say she built the Phantom Zone? Well, I guess she did build the Phantom Zone. So they're just like, her mom built the Phantom Zone, and her mom had a security station tower somewhere planted in the Phantom Zone. So this way, like soldiers or security or the officers, they can travel back and forth from the Phantom Zone to check on the prisoners. There's a mirror that's being used to transport you from one place to another. So they were just like, yo, if we can get to the security booth, we can find that mirror, because once you look in the mirror, once Kryptonian DNA, is touched by the mirror, and you look into the mirror, it shows you where home is, where your home destination is, and then you can go through the mirror and it'll automatically take you back home. So that's the plan. So they all go down, they end up doing the search. They find the security station. The whole time, Kara's dad is bitching because he's just like, oh, it cannot be, oh, we can't do it, there's no hope. And then everybody's just like, yo, shut up. But they find the place, and then he was just like, oh my God, I can't believe it's worked. And then, they go into the security office, they're looking around, they find the mirror, but the mirror is broken. And then as soon as the mirror is broken, her daddy was just like, I can't believe I allowed myself to hope again. And then even Nixon was just like, bro, like, shut up. She was just like, so you just gonna leave like a bitch? And then, Kara spoke to him, and she was just like, no, father. She was just like, Mom was very smart as far as protecting the soldiers and protecting the officers. So if she built one mirror, there has to be a second mirror somewhere in storage. So all three of them go all around the security thing to try to find this mirror. Kara ended up finding the mirror, and when Kara found the mirror, she heard her dad call out screaming. She runs back to where her dad is, and then somebody basically, I don't know, broke his leg, cracked his ankle, busted him in the knee. And then, Nick Six was there. She was just like, yes, like somebody attacked your father, and I chased him away, just in the nick of time and whatever. And then he was just like, like, I'm no good to you. He's like, just leave me here. And then I was like, yo, really, dude? And then she was just like, no, father, we're going to find the mirror. She's like, I already found the mirror. So she's like, we're going to set it up, and then we'll come back for you when we're ready to jump through the mirror. So Nixus and Kara, they get the new mirror. They put the new mirror up. Kara uses her DNA on the pad. The mirror activates. She looks into it. I believe she saw the Fortress of Solitude. So when she jumps through the mirror, it's going to take her back to the Fortress of Solitude. So then at that moment, Kara was just like, all right, so we straight. So she's just like, yo, give me a second. Let me go get my daddy, and I'm going to bring him right back. And then Nick Six was like, oh, you don't have to do that, child. She was like, just leave your father there. She was just like, oh, he's been nothing but a downer this entire time. He has no hope, and he's like, she's just like, he's an emotional wreck on this entire mission, and we can't be held down by your father's woe is me attitude. And to be honest with you, I'm going to be perfectly honest, I agree 100% with her, because her dad was getting on my damn nerves. I was just like, you have to be like the most snivellingest, like uninspired. And I understand he's been trapped in the Phantom Zone. Car is what, like 20 something? She's supposed to be 20 something because she was in her 20s when season 1. So so Kara's almost 30 now. So the dude's been trapped in the Phantom Zone for almost 30 years. Fine, I get that, but I'm just like, bro. I was just like, yo, you acting like a real beach right now. But of course, Kara's like, I'm not gonna leave my father behind. And then she's like, damn. She's like, I knew I should have slit his throat. And then she was just like, you're the one who attacked my father. And she was like, of course I attacked your father because he's a coward. And then she's like, let's just leave him here. And then then Kara was just like, oh, you're not gonna leave my father behind. So and to be honest, at that point, because they found the mirror and there was nothing stopping the three of them from just jumping into the mirror, I don't know why at that point it was such a big deal to leave the dad behind. But that makes it like she played herself, because then she was just like, oh, she's like, before I go back to the 5th dimension and exact my revenge on everybody that turned their back on me, she's like, I'm going to pay a visit to Earth and I'm going to wreak havoc on your planet. And then that's when Kara was like, all right, bitch, now I got to cut you. And then the two of them got into a fight. The fight went to a standstill. Kara kind of got her ass beat. And then she picked up a hammer. And then she was just like, oh, you're going to attack a 5th dimensional being with a hammer? And then Kara was like, no. She was like, because if your whole plan is to hurt people, she said, I have no choice but to leave you trapped here in the Phantom Zone. And then Kara unfortunately took the hammer and she broke the mirror. She broke the second mirror into a million pieces. And then after that, like the self-destruct mechanism on the security desk ended up going off. And then Mixes, like, she dropped to her knees and she was like, no, that was my only chance. And then self-destruct in 10 seconds. And then Kara still tried to pull her out of the thing. She's like, oh, we have to go. And I was like, really? Even now you're gonna reach out? But hey, that's the code of L. That's the code of the House of L. So she tried to get Nixus. She didn't want to go. And then Kara was like, hey, I tried. And then she went dolo and she went for self. Kara went running out of the building. The building exploded. Nixix was inside the building when it exploded, but obviously she's not dead. She's going to find a way out, and then she's going to wreak havoc, for the second half of the season. But at this point now, Kara and her dad are still trapped in the Phantom Zone, and they have no way to get out. And we're now waiting for Dreamer and Brainy to get that Kara Danvers DNA, so we can hopefully get her out of the mirror at the end of next episode, and then she'll be around for the following. So that was it. Thank you for tuning in. And, to be honest with you, it doesn't bother me that Supergirl, so this is only episode 4. Like, Kara's been trapped in the Phantom Zone for 4 basically for 3 episodes, because she was in the season opener. She's been trapped in the Phantom Zone for 3 episodes, and although she's trapped in the Phantom Zone, I actually don't mind, because I like Alex and Jean leading the team. I'm really at a point now where if they gave Alex Danvers a spinoff show, or if they put Alex on somebody else's show, I'm perfectly fine with that, because Alex is doing the damn thing, and she's been the MVP of Supergirl, so far. So, but leave your thoughts below. Let me know what you think of Kara, Kara's situation. How much longer is she gonna be trapped in the Phantom Zone? Are you digging Alex and Jean as like the leaders of the team? Do you like the fact that Lena Luthor's on the team? Leave a comment down below, and we'll have a nice discussion and we'll talk about it. Check out the Tacos and Geek podcast, where we discuss nothing but anime on this particular podcast. Link will be in the description below for all you guys to check it out. Also, hit me up on Twitter, hit me up on Instagram as well. I'm always posting when new videos come up on my YouTube channel. Definitely hit me up on YouTube. Let's have a conversation. Like I said, like and subscribe if you haven't already. Hit the notification bell, and let's bring it on in and make this whole thing come together. So thanks for tuning in, guys. So until next week, up and away for the Girl of Steel, and I'm out this bitch.